Real Madrid are built for moments. Vinícius attacks space, Mbappé destroys a retreating defense, and Bellingham arrives like a second striker. Pep Guardiola is built for something different: control. So what happens if football's most explosive team is forced into the most demanding positional system in the game? The answer is not simply more possession. It is a complete rebuild of where every superstar stands when they are allowed to move, and what happens in the 5 seconds after the ball is lost. This is what Real Madrid would actually look like if Pep Guardiola brought modern tiki-taka to the Bernabeu. First, forget the lazy definition of tiki-taka. Guardiola does not want short passes for decoration. He wants the ball because the ball moves the opponent. His teams divide the pitch into 5 vertical lanes, 2 wings, 2 half spaces, and the center. Players occupy different lines, so one defender cannot cover 2 passing options. One side is overloaded to attract pressure. The opposite winger is then isolated against one fullback. The pass is not the objective. The pass is the tool that creates a free player. With Madrid's current squad, the starting structure would still resemble a 4-3-3. Courtois in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Konaté, Huijsen and Cucurella across the back. Tchouaméni as the holding midfielder. Valverde and Bellingham as the 8s. Bernardo Silva on the right, Vinícius on the left, and Mbappé through the middle. But this shape would exist mostly on the team sheet. As soon as Madrid establish possession, it transforms into Guardiola's familiar 3-2-5. Cucurella stays deeper on the left, Huijsen controls the center, and Konaté protects the right. That gives Madrid a back 3 with pace, height, and enough passing quality to invite pressure. Trent moves inside, next to Tchouaméni. This is the first major Guardiola mechanism, the inverted fullback. Trent is no longer waiting outside for the ball. He receives behind the opponent's first line, where his range can switch play or find a forward between the lines. Tchouaméni protects him, wins second balls, and becomes the emergency center-back when the structure breaks. Courtois creates the extra man. Against 2 strikers, Madrid build 4 against 2 with the goalkeeper and back 3. If an opponent sends a third presser, Trent becomes free. If a midfielder jumps toward Trent, Bellingham opens behind him. Every defensive decision is designed to release somebody else. Courtois is not Edison, and his short distribution would be tested, but his ability to hit Vinícius directly means opponents cannot press without protecting the space behind them. Ahead of that base, 5 players occupy the attacking line. Vinícius holds the left touch line. Bellingham owns the left half space. Mbappé pins the center-backs. Valverde attacks the right half space, while Bernardo starts wide on the right. The spacing matters more than the names. Nobody should stand in the same vertical lane as the teammate in front of him. That creates clean diagonals, triangles, and third-man combinations. The right side becomes Madrid's control side. Bernardo, Valverde, and Trent can circulate the ball in tight spaces, pull 4 defenders toward them, and protect possession. Then comes the kill pass. Huijsen or Trent switches the ball into Vinícius, isolated on the opposite wing. This is overload to isolate, one of Guardiola's favorite attacking ideas. Pep would not remove Vinícius's dribbling. He would manufacture cleaner 1-versus-1s for him. Mbappé would not need to copy Lionel Messi as a false 9. Guardiola adapted his system for Haaland, and he would adapt again. Mbappé's primary job would be to threaten depth, pin both center-backs, and attack the gap between fullback and center-back. When he drops, Bellingham runs beyond him. When Bellingham receives between the lines, Mbappé stays high. Their movements must alternate. The problem is discipline. Mbappé naturally drifts left, exactly where Vinícius and Bellingham already want to operate. Under Pep, one of them must resist the ball and hold a position for somebody else. Against a low block, this Madrid could be terrifying. The back 3 and double pivot keep the opponent trapped. The front 5 stretch the defensive line across the entire pitch. Bernardo and Bellingham receive between midfield and defense, while Mbappé occupies the center-backs. If the block becomes narrow, Vinícius receives outside. If it becomes wide, Bellingham attacks the inside channel. Madrid would no longer wait for individual inspiration. The structure would repeatedly create the same dilemma until the defense makes the wrong choice. But Guardiola's football is most vulnerable when the ball disappears. Madrid's protection would be the 3+2 behind every attack: Cucurella, Huijsen and Konate, with Trent and Tchouaméni in front. This is rest defense. Their positions are chosen before possession is lost, so they can attack the next pass immediately. The nearest 5 players counterpress. Mbappé blocks the return pass, Bellingham jumps to the pivot, and the wingers lock the fullbacks. If the first pressure works, Madrid recover the ball 20 meters from goal. If it fails, the entire idea becomes dangerous. Vinícius and Mbappé are devastating with space, but neither has built his reputation on relentless defensive pressing. Trent is inside, leaving the right channel exposed. Cucurella may be 30 meters from his own box. One clean pass can release a winger against the back 3. Pep would therefore demand sacrifice from the stars. Not optional running, not symbolic pressure. 5 seconds of maximum aggression after every turnover. And that creates the biggest problem. There are too many elite players for too few specialist roles. Arda Güler may be the cleanest creative interior. Bernardo is the best controller. Valverde gives the system recovery speed. Bellingham offers box presence. Rodrigo provides natural movement from the right. Pep cannot start all of them without weakening the balance. His most Guardiola-like decision might be the least Madrid-like one: bench a superstar to protect the structure. Now test the system against 3 opponents. Against a deep 4-4-2, Madrid dominate territory in a 3-2-5. Bernardo and Trent overload the right, the defense shifts across, and Vinícius attacks the isolated fullback. Advantage Madrid. Against an aggressive man-to-man press, Courtois invites pressure and Huijsen carries the ball forward. Mbappé runs behind, forcing the defensive line to retreat. If Madrid break the first wave, the attack becomes immediate. Guardiola himself has always adapted the speed of the attack to the opponent's press. Tiki-taka does not mean refusing the counter-attack. Against an elite transition team, the risk is much higher. Madrid lose the ball with both 8s advanced. Trent is central, Vinícius and Bernardo are wide, and the back 3 must defend a huge pitch. Tchouaméni becomes the most important player in the team. If he delays the counter for 2 seconds, the shape recovers. If he is bypassed, even Courtois may be exposed. So would Pep's Real Madrid become the greatest team ever? With the ball, possibly. Trent's passing, Bernardo's control, Bellingham between the lines, Vinícius isolated, and Mbappé pinning the defense is almost unfair. Madrid would solve low blocks more consistently and concede fewer chaotic transitions when the rest defense is organized. But the price is identity. Real Madrid have historically survived through freedom, emotion, and players breaking the plan at exactly the right moment. Guardiola would replace part of that chaos with repetition and control. The team might become tactically superior, yet occasionally less like Real Madrid. And that is the real question. Would Pep complete this collection of superstars or remove the unpredictability that makes them special? Tell us which player Pep would be forced to bench.